Wait for the police then. Get away from my car.
I'm okay with
Get away from my car. Get away from my car. Get away from my car. Bye. Bye. I'm right here by my car. And that's yours. Go back to yours. We'll wait till the cops get here. I don't have to wait for nobody. You're right. You don't have to. Exactly. You can get in the car and leave. You can get in the car and leave. I can, but I'm going to wait for the cops to get here.
As to count one, the verdict or the sentence is, we, the jury, find that the defendant should be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. As to count two, the sentence is, we, the jury, find the defendant should be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole.
This is Carla Hughes, a 25-year-old middle school teacher and beauty queen who on the surface had her whole life figured out. But behind all of that was a woman so far gone over another woman's man that she would walk into a pregnant woman's garage with a loaded gun and a hunting knife just months before that woman's wedding. And the part that makes this whole thing even more disturbing is that she knew exactly what time Avis was coming home. To understand how it got to that point, we have to start at the beginning. Avis Marie Banks was born on August 18, 1979 in Vicksburg, Mississippi, the middle daughter of Fred and Deborah Banks. Her father swept streets for the city and her mother took babysitting jobs on the side. Money was tight, but the Banks household ran on the belief that education was how you moved up, and Avis took that seriously. She graduated from Warren Central High School in 1997, earned her bachelor's degree in early childhood development from Alcorn State University in 2001 with honors, and became the first person in her family to graduate from university. Everyone who knew her described a quiet, warm woman who genuinely loved being around children, which is why she ended up working as a daycare teacher at Bright Horizons Daycare in Jackson, Mississippi, pouring herself into kids who weren't even hers yet. By 2004, Avis had met a man named Keon Pittman. They crossed paths at a local gym while Avis was working out with her sister. Keon was a math teacher and head basketball coach at Chastain Middle School in Jackson, and on paper, he looked like exactly the kind of man you bring home to meet your parents. They started dating, moved in together, bought a house in Ridgeland, a suburb just outside Jackson, and got engaged. Then in June 2006, Avis found out she was pregnant with a boy. They had already chosen the name Keelan, a version of Keon's own name, and a wedding was being planned for early 2007. Everything looked like it was coming together. What Avis did not know was that her fiancé had started something on the side just 1 month after she told him she was pregnant. In August 2006, Keon Pittman met Carla Ann Hughes at the same school where he taught, Chastain Middle School, where she was a 7th grade language arts teacher. Within weeks, they were having sex 2 to 3 times a week, messaging each other every day, and Pittman even brought Hughes into the home he shared with the pregnant Avis when Avis was not around.
Keon Pittman testified he and Carla Hughes met at Chastain Middle School in August 2006, just 1 month after he and his fiancée Avis Banks found out they were expecting a baby. Keon says his and Carla's relationship quickly turned romantic. He says it all started when he went to Carla's apartment one day in August. He says they had sex and referred to their 4-month affair as a sexual adventure.
Now here is where the story shifts, because Carla Hughes was not thinking of herself as a side situation. In her mind, she and Keon were building towards something. She was calling him her future husband around her friends and family, getting more and more frustrated that he would not leave Avis, and at one point tried to drive to the house Keon shared with Avis to confront her directly. Keon had to threaten to call the police to stop her, all while still telling Hughes he was not going anywhere and still going home to Avis every night. So who exactly was Carla Hughes? Because she was not someone you would immediately look at sideways. Born on June 12, 1981 in Greenville, Mississippi, she was adopted at 6 weeks old by her uncle Carl Hughes and his wife Linda, both school teachers, who raised her as their only child. She was an overachiever from jump. At 14, she was crowned Mississippi State Equestrian Champion and placed 6th in a world competition, competed in beauty pageants up to the national level, and served on the Mayor's Youth Council and as a page in the Mississippi State Senate. Academically, she earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Southern Mississippi, a master's of education from Belhaven College, and by 2006, she was pursuing a doctorate at Delta State University while teaching full-time and raising a young son on her own. Her family said she was a peacemaker who had never been in a fight in her life. So on one side, you have Avis, a hardworking woman who had built something real and was getting ready to become a wife and a mother. On the other side, you have Carla, with every achievement you could put on paper, who had decided that someone else's pregnant fiancé was standing in the way of what she wanted. Around the Thanksgiving weekend of 2006, things started moving fast. On November 25, 2006, Keon and Avis drove to Picayune to visit their family for the holiday. Carla drove to Picayune too and met Keon secretly at a hotel. When he refused to stay as long as she wanted, she looked at him and said, "Some things are going to change." The very next day, November 26, 2006, Carla Hughes went to her cousin Patrick Nash and borrowed a loaded Rossi .38 caliber 5-shot revolver and a hunting knife. She told Nash people had been trying to break into her home and she needed protection. He showed her how to use the gun, handed it to her fully loaded, and she left. 3 days later, Avis Banks came home from work, pulled into her garage, and never made it through the door. November 29, 2006 started like any regular Wednesday. Avis was working her shift at Bright Horizons Daycare in Jackson. Keon was over at Chastain Middle School getting ready for basketball practice. Around 5:10 in the afternoon, he made a stop at Carla Hughes's apartment to drop off some groceries he had been keeping there before heading to the gym. While he was driving to practice, he called Avis at 5:12 and again at 5:36 while she was on her way home from work. Around 5:50 that evening, Avis Banks pulled into the garage of her home at 708 Old Square Court in Ridgeland. She had her car keys in her hand and the mail she had collected on her way in. Someone was already in that garage waiting for her. She was shot 4 times with a .38 caliber revolver, with wounds to the leg, the chest, and the head, and 3 of those shots were fatal. She was also stabbed 3 times with cuts to her face and neck. The forensic expert who examined her, Dr. Stephen Hain, testified that Avis stayed conscious and in pain for somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes after the first shots hit her. Her unborn son, Keelan, died as a result of what happened to his mother and was ruled a separate murder victim under Mississippi law. Meanwhile, Keon Pittman was at basketball practice from 5:30 until around 7:45, with multiple witnesses and phone records confirming he was at Chastain Middle School when Avis was killed.
He said he opened up the garage door and saw her body laying there in the garage. He said he ran up to her, hugged her, kissed her on the lips. After that, he ran inside to see if he could find anybody.
His coaching staff, his players, and his phone records all confirmed he was at Chastain when Avis was killed. He was cleared. Then, investigators started talking to people at the school. Teachers and staff at Chastain told police that Pittman had been seeing Carla Hughes, a language arts teacher at the same school, and that he had other women on the side as well, including, reportedly, the mother of one of the basketball players he coached.
Testimony is underway in the murder trial of Carla Hughes. She's accused of killing Avis Banks and her unborn child.
Opening statements began with attorneys trying to raise doubt about the victim's fiancé, who admitted to having an affair with Hughes.
Police first spoke to Carla Hughes on December 1st at the school. She told them she and Pittman were just friends. That same evening at the station, she admitted to the affair, but still insisted she had never had access to any gun. That was a lie, and it did not hold up for long. Her cousin Patrick Nash turned the weapon over to the police on December 5th. ballistics expert Starks Hathcock from the Mississippi State Crime Laboratory confirmed that the bullets fired from that Rossi .38 revolver matched the 4 bullets recovered from Avis Banks's body and the bullet hole in the garage door. The gun that Hughes had borrowed 3 days before the murder was the murder weapon, and when Nash got it back from her on December 1st, the same evening she gave her police interview, it was empty and had been cleaned. Hughes was arrested on December 6th, initially for being an accessory after the fact, and 2 days after that, police executed a search warrant at her apartment. They were specifically looking for the knife, any clothing with blood on it, and shoes that matched the print left on the broken glass at the kicked-in back door. They found a pair of women's size 10 tread-safe shoes, and the tread pattern was a perfect match to the impressions lifted from the glass. A forensic scientist confirmed through DNA testing that the blood spoutered on those shoes belonged to Avis Banks. Inside the master bedroom nightstand, investigators also found a photograph of Keon Pittman and a handwritten note with his initials KP written on it. Then there were the phone records. A cellular engineer testified that Hughes's phone had connected to towers covering the area of Avis Banks's subdivision around 5:37 p.m. and again between 6:04 and 6:07 p.m. on the night of the murder, which is the exact window when Avis came home and was killed. On top of all of that, the night of the murder, Karla had called Patrick Nash and mentioned that someone had killed Pittman's girlfriend. And when Nash's uncle later asked Hughes directly whether the gun had been used in the crime, she dropped her head and shrugged her shoulders. She never said no. The trial of Karla Ann Hughes opened on October 5, 2009 in the Madison County Circuit Court in Canton, Mississippi, almost 3 full years after Avis Banks was killed. The case had gone national by then, pulling in live courtroom coverage on True TV and thousands of people checking in on local news every day.
Is our most watched story on WAPT.com. Thousands of you logged on to our website to read about the trial and watch the live streaming video. The story is also gaining national attention.
The jury was 9 women and 3 men. Prosecutors argued that Karla killed Avis Banks because she wanted Keon Pittman for herself and was not willing to accept that he was not leaving his pregnant fiancé. The defense, led by attorney Johnny Walls Jr., went the opposite direction and pointed the finger straight at Pittman, calling him a smooth operator and a certified bona fide womanizer who had every reason to want out of a marriage and a baby, and suggesting he could have borrowed Hughes's shoes to make it look like she had been there. The prosecution's most important witness was Keon Pittman himself, and when he took that stand, he did not hold back.
Did you kill Avis Banks? No. No. Do you feel any responsibility for her death? Yes. Tell me how.
If I would have stayed faithful to who I was with, if I had been thinking poorly, making bad choices, or made a bad choice to sleep around and flirt with other women, this chain of events would have never taken place, bro.
He denied killing Avis. He denied killing his unborn son. He admitted to the affair, admitted to lying to Avis every single day, and admitted that he gave Hughes the idea she was more than just a side thing. He owned that his choices started the chain that ended Avis's life, even if he did not pull the trigger. The defense brought out one thing nobody could explain away. The night Avis's body was found, while Pittman was at the police station, he sent a text to Karla Hughes that said he now knows why the Lord sent her to him. His fiancé had just been found murdered, and he was sending that to the woman about to be charged with killing her. He confirmed he sent it. Throughout all of this, Carla Hughes sat at the defense table taking notes, sometimes whispering to her attorney, sometimes biting her lip, but she never showed much on her face, and she never took the stand.
Carla showed no facial expression, but sometimes whispered to her attorney and took notes while Keon talked about their love affair.
Patrick Nash testified about the gun and the knife. The ballistics expert confirmed the match. Lieutenant John Neal walked the jury through the shoe evidence. The cellular engineer explained the tower data, putting Hughes near the crime scene at the time of the murder. Avis Banks's family sat through every minute of it, including the moment Avis's mother walked out of the courtroom in tears when the crime scene photographs went up and never came back.
The Banks family is at the trial and inside the courtroom. Avis Banks' mother actually left the courtroom in tears when crime scene photos were shown to the jury. She did not return to court.
After 8 hours of deliberations, the jury came back on October 13th, 2009.
All right, the court, having reviewed the verdicts, finds that they are in the one of the forms allowed by the instructions. If the defendant would please rise. Relative to count 1, the verdict is, we, the jury, find the defendant, Carla Hughes, guilty of capital murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. Relative to count 2, the verdict is, we, the jury, find the defendant, Carla Hughes, guilty of capital murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment.
Carla covered her face and cried as the verdict was read. Guilty on both counts of capital murder, one for Avis Banks and one for her unborn son, Keelan, who Mississippi law counts as a separate victim. The sentencing happened the next day. Prosecutors pushed hard for the death penalty. Assistant DA John Empfinger told the jury when Avis Banks came into her garage, she was not met by a beauty pageant contestant. She was not met by an award-winning horseback rider. She was not met by a peacemaker. She was met by a stone-cold killer. She was waiting there with a gun and a knife. Carla's family begged for her life. Her mother described her as a woman who had never been in a fight. Her father broke all the way down.
Wednesday morning, Carla Hughes' father pleaded with the jury to save his only child's life.
The thing to you is, I'm not asking you, I'm pleading with you to spare my daughter's life.
After about an hour, the jury decided against the death penalty and handed down 2 consecutive life sentences with no chance of parole.
Here's the sentence.
All right, as to count 1, the verdict or the sentence is, we, the jury, find that the defendant should be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. As to count 2, the sentence is, we, the jury, find the defendant should be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole.
Carla Hughes waved and said bye to her family and friends while deputies led her out of the courtroom. Avis Banks and Carla Hughes' fathers hugged each other. What did you tell them?
We both lost, you know. I'm sorry. I know that, you know, they weren't that type of people. They didn't raise Carla like that, and I'm just sorry, you know. And we just embraced each other.
2 fathers who never asked for any of this, standing in a courthouse hallway holding each other. One grieving a daughter who was gone, the other grieving one who was still breathing but had thrown everything away. Carla Hughes filed for a new trial and was denied in August 2010. She took the appeal all the way to the Mississippi Supreme Court, which unanimously upheld the conviction in June 2012, ruling that the gun, the bloody shoes, the phone data, and the motive together made a case the jury got absolutely right.
The love triangle that ended in murder could now go to the state Supreme Court. Carla Hughes killed her lover's pregnant fiancé in 2006. Today, she asked for a retrial. As 16 WAPT's Catherine Kite reports, a judge denied that request.
As of today, Carla Hughes is still locked up as MDOC inmate number 153003, serving 2 consecutive life sentences at the Delta Correctional Facility in Greenwood, Mississippi. No parole eligibility. She will die in that prison. Her mother tried to raise money online in 2016 to hire a private investigator and fight the conviction, but the campaign pulled in less than $1,000 and went nowhere. Avis Marie Banks and her unborn son Keelan were buried together on December 1, 2006 at Locust Grove Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery in Vicksburg, Mississippi, the same church she had grown up in. She was 27 years old, 5 months pregnant, and a few months away from the wedding she had been planning. Her father, Fred, passed away in 2016, at least knowing she got her justice before he left. And Keon Pittman, the man whose decisions set all of this in motion, remarried the very next year, moved to Michigan, and has not spoken publicly about the case since. Some people really do just get to start over. Do you think Carla Hughes actually snapped from being obsessed with Keon, or do you think she always had that in her and it just took the right situation to bring it out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tap on one of the cards on your screen to watch more videos like this. See you in the next one.